Hello, beautiful people. Samson Williams here. We're back for video 3 of At the Top of the Corporate Ladder is Entrepreneurship. We've been absolutely crushing it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. Thanks for sharing this because apparently this topic is on a lot of people's minds. At the top of the corporate ladder is entrepreneurship. Now we're going to talk about your third pivot option. Your third pivot option, as we remember, we're going to go back to our slide right quick. If I can remember how to share this screen. Boom, there we go. At the top of the corporate ladder, our third pivot option is, boom, startup life. Super exciting. So without any further ado, let's just hop right into it. Startup life, AKA why I only recommend entrepreneurship to my enemies. You see where entrepreneurship is like, oh my God, this is so sexy. We love being entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship sucks. It's emotionally draining. It's like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna die. There's so many emotional roller coasters. One day you have bajillions of dollars. By the way, I'm gonna do a video on why we're all billionaires in Excel when it comes to financial projection. The other day you're like, oh my God, I've just burned through my life savings. If you're a real entrepreneur, by the time you do this the third time, you don't even sweat it. It's like, so what? We're about to be up. But so we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, AKA startup life, because I want you to take away a couple of key messages and why I only recommend entrepreneurship to my enemies. If you can make a living doing anything else and be content, you should definitely do that. You do not want to become an entrepreneur. It is so, number one, emotionally taxing. You don't know this yet, but when you leave your cool corporate job, you actually lose your network of friends. And so many of the people you've worked with 10, 15, 20 years, they're your BFFs. They're their besties for life. But you're now not going to see them all the time. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm all alone. I don't have my support group. I don't have my work wife or my work husband. What am I supposed to do? Entrepreneurship is emotionally taxing. You need to know that. Two, you've got to go develop new social networks. It's so hard to do when you're old, you're cantankerous, you're a bit of a curmudgeon. It's like, oh my goodness, I need to go make new social networks. And that's what startup life is. You're gonna go make new social networks. In addition to selling your good product or service, you have to sell yourself first as a founder, as a co-founder, and then whatever good product or service. Particularly if you try to raise money either through venture capital or crowdfunding, it's all about your ability to build rapport with your potential investors. And that's just a social networking. That's just it. Three, and I can't remember who said this. I experienced this. I had never had it articulated. You'll run out of energy before you run out of cash. So entrepreneurship is hell of expensive, right? If you're a cokehead, right? You do coke, you're spending $1,000 a day for your cocaine habit. That's only $365,000 for the year. That's super cheap compared to how much startup capital your startup needs, how much investment capital your startup needs. You might need $2 to $3 million to start your startup. That's literally 10 times as much as if you had a cocaine addiction. Again, this is why I only recommend entrepreneurship to my enemies. Super stressful. It's emotionally taxing. You got to create new social networks. You're going to run out of energy before you run out of cash. And what that means is you put so much of your hope, your drive, you climb the corporate ladder. Now you're jumping off. You take your golden parachute and you bet it on your dreams. And oh my God, it's hard. It's difficult. There's no support. It's an emotional roller coaster. You're like, son of a bitch. If someone only told me this, I would have never left your job. So the final things I want you to know is, one, you're going to burn through your life savings. Don't sweat it. It happens. You're going to burn through your bank account. You're going to max out your credit card. You're going to max out You're going to suck down your 401k. You are in a pursuit of your dreams. Freedom is not cheap. Freedom is not easy. There is a sunk cost to pursuing that, and that includes all of your life savings. If you're about 40, 45, don't sweat it. The average age of an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley is 43. You're right in the thick of things. The kids don't actually go out to start business because they lack the seasoning, the know-how, the knowledge, skills, and abilities to compete with the 40-something titans of industry that you are. Entrepreneurship is a 40-something-year-old person's game because you do need the experience, then the cash, then the network to go out and build your game-changing product. So keep in mind, you're going to burn through your life savings. I know you're like, Samson, that's not possible. I'm a reasonable, smart person. You are going to stone cold sober make some of the most crazy gambles, bets on yourself. And that's just entrepreneurship. There's no easy way around it. Remember, entrepreneurship is not a straight line. It's more of a tornado inside of a tsunami, inside of a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency market on any given day. Second thing is, don't be afraid to go get a job. You might need to retire, burn through your life savings, go get your pride, and go get your ass a job. So just remember, just because you only fail when you stop trying. If you fail in your first iteration, just say your startup's going through some agile process. And so in your next sprint, you're going to get a job, build up your coffers, and try again in 3 to 5 years. It's going to suck. Your pride's going to be hurt. Suck it up. Everyone does it. There's no easy path to success. If you want a high reward, low risk outcome, buy an annuity. Otherwise, in startup life and entrepreneurship in general, high rewards, super high risk, and you're competing on a global scale because when you're 1 in a million on a planet of about 7 billion, that means there's 7,000 people just like you who are equally as hungry, equally as determined, and equally as qualified to be in your exact vertical. So that's it for our third part about startup life. Entrepreneurship, I only recommend it to my enemies. So let's think about this because you're climbing the corporate ladder. You think you want to jump off, but you might want to think about that a little bit more because let me tell you, these waters are nice and warm, but they're also filled with vicious predators that smile and wear Florida State shirts. So that's it for the moment. I will see you in our next video when we talk about the fourth thing on our list. About at the top of the corporate ladder is entrepreneurship. And number 4 pivot is becoming a investor, whether you're an angel investor, a retail investor, an accredited investor, a shark. What does that mean if you're going to jump into those waters? So stay tuned. We'll be back for our 4th video in this series about how at the top of the corporate ladder there is entrepreneurship. Peace.